Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Common English Errors. My name is Chris, and today our topic of the day will be speaking of less repetition. Now, I've noticed that a lot of people might be thinking that today we'll be talking about how to cure your stuttering problem, but that really isn't what we'll be talking about. We're not talking about stuttering. For those of you who don't know what is stuttering, stuttering is like stuttering. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about talking without less repetition. As we all know, every one of us, except for me, sitting in front of the computer, is a second language learner. Second language being English. Unfortunately, because of most of us having a very limited vocabulary or limited grammar, when we're talking in English, we really don't sound like a native speaker. Now, what I'm going to teach you today is how to sound more like a native speaker. Don't mean to brag. I don't mean to brag, but I mean if I were to call you and I was speaking in English, you would not know that I'm Taiwanese. Okay, and the reason to that is, well, yeah, of course, because I was born in Canada, but the main reason is because I know how to make use of different words when I'm speaking in English. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay, don't get me wrong. All right, of course, the way to vary your speech, to make you sound more like a native speaker, of course, it involves using different words, changing the sentence lengths, replacing nouns with pronouns, varying your sentence structure, and of course, varying your verb tenses. That is true. But it doesn't mean using very, very, very difficult words. Okay? Difficult words does not mean good English. Okay? In some cases, to sound like a native speaker, you've got to speak bad English. But when I mean bad English, I'm not talking about Asian bad English. I'm talking about local bad English. Okay? You see? As I mentioned here, it's okay to use simple words to say something, but just don't repeat the same vocabulary in every sentence, okay? Unfortunately, for most of you, in Chinese, you will have the word have. You will also have the word be in your Chinese sentences, and many of you are probably speaking in English by thinking of a Chinese sentence in your head and then translating it into English. Wrong. Keep in mind that English and Chinese are two very different languages. Trying to express the same thing using two different languages might be translated in a very different way. So before I teach you anything in this session, my advice is that you watch more English television, because all of the cool stuff that people say today is based on what people say in television. Okay, now I'm not telling you to watch HBO, I'm not telling you to watch CNN, I'm telling you to do something illegal. I want you to download movies from the internet. Because if you download movies from the internet, they don't have subtitles. Alright, and I'm talking about real movies from the internet without subtitles. And I want you to listen to them, and I want you to try to repeat what they say in the movie. Okay? I want you to try to repeat what they say in the movie. And because what you say for the same meaning could vary depending on the situation that you are in. Okay? For example, alright, choosing a variety of words can bring more flavor to your sentences and make them sound less repetitive. Okay, I want you to vary your vocabulary. Alright, for example, this sentence here. I like coffee, but I really like espressos. That's not what I would say. I like coffee, but I'm crazy about espressos. That's not what I would say either. What I would say is, yeah, coffee's good, but nothing beats a really good cup of espresso.